guys, it's Abigail. Welcome to another video. If you are new, thank you so much for coming today, and if you're joining me once again, welcome as well. So today, as you can tell by the title, we are going back to the basics. So I'm just going to be sharing with you the things that I did to start off. Because when you are just starting and just learning to write, you don't need to try to aim for such a huge goal that is going to seem impossible. You can reach for the sky. That's not what I'm saying. That is good to reach for the sky. But you don't want to overwhelm yourself with something that you know that you can't complete because it's way too difficult at the time. So I'm just going to be sharing with you some of the things that I either wrote a while ago at the very beginning of my writing, or just things that like tips and tricks that I used to help me be able to write more and eventually be able to write bigger. So the first thing is mini books. This is what I did. I called them mini books, and they were literally 1 page long, if that. This one was 1.5 pages, but I included a picture. So then it made it 2 pages. But I literally called them mini books, and I just wrote a story. Any story that I just could come up with, and I tried to end it pretty soon, so I didn't have to write a ton. I didn't feel like I had to write a bunch of chapters and stuff. Where I started was, this one was the first one that I wrote, and it was the story of Pixie. Really, really short, but it tells a story and it makes you feel like you could imagine it. That was my goal. I wanted to make sure that people could hear it and imagine what I was talking about. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a silky brown bear named Pixie. She was 4 weeks old, had an adventurous spirit, and liked to explore. One morning, as she was walking through the woods in search of food, she slipped into a hole. The hole wasn't that deep, but it shocked her greatly. For a brief moment, Pixie just sat there not moving, while she gathered her wits and could manage to climb out of the hole. Then she looked around herself and found the path she had come on. When she got home, she cuddled with her siblings. She felt comfortable at last in the warmth of her home. And one of the things that I wanted to make short stories for were when a few of my little nieces and nephews will come over and spend the night, then they'll often ask me to read them a story or tell them a story. So I wanted to have stories written that I could tell them. If you write just a sentence, if you try that, if you just write one sentence and then you change an adjective in it. And so you, for instance, if I did this, if I said, the boy went to the store. Now, in the next line, I'm going to say, the 10-year-old boy biked to the gas station. For some reason, I don't know why he would bike to the gas station, but he did. The 10-year-old boy biked to the gas station, apparently. So then you see how that changes from the boy went to the store to the 10-year-old boy biked to the gas station. Now, my newest line explains how old he is and how he went to the store and what the store was. But the first sentence just says the boy went to the store. So that leaves you with several questions. You're like, so who? The boy. Who is the boy? How did he get there? And what is the store? So then the 10-year-old boy, that explains more about the boy, biked, that's how he got there, that's how, to the gas station, that's where. So he biked to the gas station. And so that's just like, it changes a little bit of it. And you don't need to change much. Maybe just write a whole page. And once you write a whole page, then go back and change adjectives and add other words to make it more interesting for the reader to read. And something that's helpful is if you have a sibling, if you have a really good friend, or if you have a parent, showing them your story and being like, what do you think it needs? Like, don't be afraid of criticism. My story was good in my brain, but in other people's perspectives, they didn't know exactly what I was thinking, so they didn't understand it like I wanted to explain it. So then they were like, well, what about this? And then I'll be like, Okay, well, I can see it in my head, so I'll go back and like reiterate it and like add more things to it. But just ask a few people to give you hard love, to just tell you what's wrong with your story, and you can fix it that way. It helps you grow. This was one of my favorite creative writing things to do. It says, "The deserted tower was scattered with red and white brick chunks that had once been part of a tower. Chopped off jack pine stumps and the younger saplings surrounded the tower. I stepped inside a tall brick tube and saw a window, which was only a hole full of light and sapling shapes. The foliage never left, no matter how many times it was cut back. Only a rough opening remained for the door, with a slab of cement where the top of the doorframe had been." It was really fun to do because that was an example of adding words to it. So I'm pretty sure it said like the tower had brick chunks laying on the ground. And so then I changed it so that way the tower was scattered with red and white brick chunks. So like just modifying it just a little bit gives it more depth. Just customize your simple sentences. You can write a whole book with simple sentences. Then go back and you start editing it and you just change the simple sentences to make them better and to just explain more and actually be able to put your heart into words so that way you can express things better. Another thing is that this is something that's kind of off topic, but writing is therapeutic. If my mind is just filled with a bunch of thoughts and I'm just like, oh, like this just, I can't like stop thinking it, then I will just go and write. It doesn't even need to be about that, what I was thinking about, but I will just go and write in general, and it's really helpful, it's really calming, and then I am not having to think about it anymore. My mom calls it brain dumping when you are in the middle of the night and you can't sleep because you have a thought. Then you just get out like either your phone to type it in or like a notepad and pen. That's what I've done before. And then you just write down what you're thinking. And then you put it aside, and it's actually easier to fall asleep. It's crazy. I didn't know that it worked, but it does. And I've used it multiple times because brain dumping is so helpful to me. So never, never, never give up, because writing is something that's going to come with time, practice, and hard work. A lot of things take that, and writing is one of those. So you have to just give it time. Don't give up. You're going to be really great and successful if you push through and are just dedicated to making progress. The more you stay dedicated, the more you will be happier in the end, because it will just turn into something so beautiful. Something that wasn't actually good can turn so good with time, practice, patience. You need to have patience on yourself. And dedication. You need to be able to just dedicate time each day or each week if you're super busy, multiple times a week, to try and just make sure you are writing, even if it's a page a day. Just try to do it, and you can customize it with simple sentences and make those simple sentences complex, and that will actually expand your writing. So if you write one page of simple sentences, simple paragraphs, and then you go back and make them complex and just add a lot more things, it's going to be longer than a page, and it's going to feel so good in the end. So I hope this was really helpful for you, and that's all that I have to share with you today. I will see you on Saturday. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Bye!